George Thambi, and today we're going to be discussing landfill gas control. Our presentation is going to include a brief introduction. We're going to move on to talk about methane generation. Then George is going to discuss landfill gas applications, landfill gas to energy, and then he'll give some examples of applications that are found in industry today. Then I'll move on and discuss a new technology, which is cryogenic.
Applications are to generate electricity. It can be generated by internal combustion engine or by gas turbines. One of the other applications is to use the gas to direct users. It can be used when the gas generated from the landfill is less, or when there are direct users near to the landfill. Other applications are treating the gas and then supplying along with the natural gas pipelines. And the fourth one is a new technology where you convert the LFG to the liquid hydrogen, and which will be tested in later slides. LFG to energy. In US, there are about 1,767 landfills in the paper which is discussed, and in that only 295 generate electricity. So the amount of LFG processed in the US is about 5 billion normal MQ annually. And the amount and electricity is converted commonly by internal combustion engine. That percent, about 70% of the projects use internal combustion engine for conversion. The amount of electricity generated from LFG was estimated to be 1.07 gigawatts. The production cost of LFG is a main factor, and the production cost of LFG comes to about $45 per megawatt hour. When compared to wind, it is $48 per megawatt hour, and for geothermal projects, it is $54 per megawatt hour, and when compared to the solar, it comes to be $140 per megawatt hour. So, if you need to sell the electricity produced from LFG, and if it has to be economical for the production unit, it has to be sold at 4 cents per kilowatt hour at the current cents. Some of the examples of LFGs are St. Louis, Missouri landfill study, where all the four landfills used LFG projects, and from that they were able to reduce emissions by about 69,000 tons per year of methane. They were also able to reduce 300,000 tons per year of carbon dioxide, as well as 2,000 tons per year of sulfur dioxide. One of the other projects done by Thambi Mengg, they used a pipeline length of 5 miles from the landfill to their project, and they have used about 70% of their plant boiler steam. And by that, they were able to get an environmental award for that. In one of the projects of BMW at Strasbourg, they used a pipeline of 10 miles from the landfill, from the nearest landfill, and they used it for assembly plants. And they calculated a benefit of about 130,000 cars, which produce the same. You are able to reduce the emission cost by 130,000 cars, as well as or equivalent to 180,000 acres of agricultural land. One of the last examples that I want to mention is the County Sanitation District of Los Angeles County, where there were several landfill areas where the methane presence was only less than 25%. And you have to have a methane percentage more than 35% to generate electricity from microturbines. So they used 7 other projects where the methane percentage was more than 40%, and they linked that and then used those methane to produce electricity.
One of the new technologies that's out there right now is landfill gas to liquid hydrogen. And we decide on what application you're going to use depending on our facility. So it's a case-by-case basis. So again, as George discussed, LFG is one of the cheapest sources of renewable energy. And so it is, a lot of companies right now are deciding to go and use LFG to reduce emissions and to gain credit from the government. LFG, liquid hydrogen, is best achieved through the cryogenic process. And so finally, I've written here promotion of green energy and living. And so one of the ways for us to promote energy and promote LFG into, or LFG control is by government putting stricter controls on manufacturers, on industry. Another thing is providing grants and subsidies by these governments to those industries that bring down their emissions. Thank you for paying attention and
questions? So what from your all the slides we saw methane gas produces as a direct product from the MSW. Do you consider the recirculation process, which is you are using not the liquid MSW, sometimes it's very solid which is dry, but it's contaminated.
if we use solids
As a recirculation which can produce methane.
well, I'm not sure if I understood that, but if you have, you need moisture in your MSW in order to produce landfill gas.
Exactly. You need hydrogen or water.
Yes, they gave 20%, but it was recommended up to 40% even of moisture to produce more landfill gas. And so that's why they use anaerobic digesters right now to produce more of these landfill gases than just regular municipal landfill.
Do you know how many problems arise by injecting methane into the natural gas, like when it reaches combustion end?
Well,
Actually, you have to treat it first and then add it along with the natural gas. You have to treat it first. You cannot directly supply that. You have to treat it and then supply it.
they won't let you inject into the natural gas pipelines unless you meet certain quality standards. So unless you do that, it shouldn't be a problem.
Two questions. One is, I think one of the slides I saw that you mentioned that one of the projects that led to reductions in CO2.
Yes.
Yeah. How will use of landfill gas lead to reduction in CO2?
Actually, that study in which they compared with the CO2 is that actually they were comparing with the same amount of energy to obtain, you need to burn so much of coal. So what they did is that instead of this energy being used, just putting it out, why don't we use that energy and save the coal? And in that effect, you can save the number, that much quantity of carbon dioxide.
One last question is, what convert methane to liquid hydrogen? Like, I know hydrogen is the new sort of fuel that everyone dreams about, but you have a fuel which has certain energy.
Know about, so we decided we want to talk about something that, there's only really, I tried to look for more papers on this and there wasn't really much information. But I just thought it was interesting that we could do that. So that's why it was included as part of this report.